Hello everybody, welcome to FTT214. This is Alex Bradley. Here with the first week assignment. This week we're going to be doing a little unboxing of what we received in class, and then sanding down the wood block that we got down to a 400 grit so that we can start on the checkering. So we're going to start with unboxing. I'm going to give you a POV as I get my parts that I got out of this box. Alright, so here's the box I received. I've already opened it. So now we're just going to go through a little bit of equipment check, make sure I got everything. First, right off the bat, we got our big wood stock block here. I'm not sure what the pencil design here on it is. Looks like there's some wax on both ends. I guess that's to protect the grain from splitting or anything. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Next, we got our hand checkering tool. We got the tool as well as attachments for the tool. We got our, this is like the single line right here. And we also got our double line. See, there's two lines in this one, two grooves. So this is gonna be our double line here. And an Allen key, I guess, to tighten those up with, and looks like some little pins that are in this bag. Not 100% certain what those could be for. I guess we'll find out as we learn more about this hand checkering tool. I've never done any hand checkering or anything like that, so this is all going to be new to me. But looks like we have all the hand checkering devices that were supposed to be sent. I'm going to keep them all in this bag so they don't get lost or anything. And we'll see what else we got in here. We also got our Pro Checkering Gauge by Master Carver. Got the little gauge here. It has the different lines per inch for each one. I'm sure we'll be learning how to use this. Like I said, I've never done anything like this, so it looks like there's a little bit of some directions in here on how to do that. And I'm sure we'll learn some more about it as we get through the checkering lab book and figure out exactly how to use these things. Really excited to get started on this. We're gonna get started on sanding down this wood block. So I'm gonna fix it in my vise over here, and I'll come back once I get it fixed in my vise and we'll start sanding on this thing. Okay, so I got my wood block secured in here. I had to use a little bit of the rubber I use as like a soft jaws, just to fill in this gap, because as you can see, it's not really straight. It's kind of difficult to get a vise to clamp down on it. So I put some rubber in here so that the vise will get a good clamp. And it seems like it's in there pretty secure. I got a few different grits of sandpaper here. It said in the directions you could use rasp or files or anything. I don't think that's really necessary, just to kind of get this grain down smooth. I'm gonna start with something a little harder, like some 60, and move down to maybe 100 or 150. I got some 220. And I got some 400 here, which will be my final sanding. So I'm gonna start with a 60. I'm gonna cut me off a piece here, and we'll start right with this. So I got it down to 60 grit. Feeling pretty smooth. I got a lot of the big divots and stuff that happen to be in it off, and found my sanding block, which is gonna come in handy. I put some 100 grit in here. We're gonna go with the 100 grit for a little while. And then we're gonna move on to something finer. The sanding block works out great. Made pretty quick work of that 100 grit sandpaper there, and we're getting really smooth. We're gonna move on down to probably some 220. I don't really see the point in putting a 150 on it, but some 220 would be good. And then we're gonna go down to our 400 here after that. As you can see, I took it out of my vise. With the shape of this, it wasn't really working very well in the vise. My vise doesn't get big enough to open this way and hold it square. So I had to hold it this way, and with the curvature here, the vise just wasn't really holding it very well, and it was causing me a lot more problems than just holding the block and sanding. So that being said, I understand that I'm gonna have to find a way to hold this while I'm checkering, and with that, I'm planning on putting some maybe some two little blocks of wood around on each corner all the way around it, so that way it will hold it in place as I'm moving it. It'll beat up against those blocks and it won't be able to move as I'm checkering. So if this for sanding, I'm fine just holding it while I'm sanding. It's not really a big deal, but for the checkering, I understand I'm gonna have to hold it. I'm gonna have to secure it some way. So that's my plan for that, and I believe it will work out pretty well. I haven't got that set up yet, but I will be setting that up in the near future just to make sure it works before we start with the checkering. All right, so I remembered something from our stock working class was spraying a small amount of water on the wood, and that'll drive the fibers of the wood up, and once you let that settle in and dry off, it'll drive the fibers of the wood up, and it'll allow you to sand it down, and it'll get even smoother. So I've gotten down with a 220. I spritz it with some water. I'm gonna let that dry off a little bit and pull those fibers up, and then sand it back down with a 220 again. Then go with the 400, and I believe that'll make it a really smooth surface. It's pretty smooth already, but I can see some grains that are kind of divoted down. There's a little bit of differentiation between the different grains, and so I want to sand that all to an equal level. The sanding block is working great to keep it flat, and once I get that dry off, I think I've never tried this, but I do remember them talking about it in the stock working class, and the science made sense. So I'm gonna try it right here and just see what it does. I'm gonna let that soak in for just another minute or so and dry off completely. Then I'm going to sand it back down. So see what happens. All right, so my water on here is dried off, and I can tell it made a huge difference. I could feel the wood grain that's come up off of the wood since that water's dried off of it. Like I said, I've never tried this, but I feel like it actually done quite a bit of work. I could feel, like I said, I could feel the wood grain that's come off. So I'm gonna go back with the 220 grit sandpaper here and sand off all those little burrs I can feel from the wood grain that's pulled up from the water. All right, so I spritzed my wood block with some water again, and I can feel all these grains come back up again. It's actually really impressive how well that works. I sanded it down with a 220 after I spritzed it with the water, and it got extremely smooth. So I wanted to spritz it again with some water, and I'm gonna go with the 400 here on my wood block, or my sanding block, and see how well that does. So I took it down with the 400 grit. I have another piece, a new fresh piece in here. I sprayed it down with some water again, and I can feel a little bit of the grain lifting off. More over here in this area, as the grain is a little bit wider than this area. This area is still really smooth. But I'm gonna take that grain down again with my 400 grit sandpaper, and I believe this thing will be extremely smooth and ready for some checkering. So, all right, so I got my wood block sanded down here. You can see this side is really shiny, really smooth. You can even see it in the light, how it's reflecting the light off. I used a little water bottle to spritz some water on it. I think it turns out really well. It's extremely smooth, especially compared to the other side. I didn't sand anything on this side. I might end up sanding this down and then using it for another practicing side for checkering, just honing my skills and stuff. But for now, just for our project, you can see a big difference between this grain. You can actually still see the grain, how it's raised up and all, and our side that we sanded down to our 400 grit. I think this is going to work out really well for our checkering. So that's going to be my submission for the FTT214 week 1 assignment, and I'm excited to get more in depth on this checkering thing and see how this all works out. Again, this is Alex Bradley. Thank you.